Imagine spawning into a map that's 1,200 square kilometers. You could probably walk for hours in one direction and still not even come close to the edge. And of course you're not alone either. There are thousands of other players on the same server, all trying to skate by and survive. The game's called CrisisX, and it's shaping up to be one of the most ambitious survival MMOs we've ever seen. The devs dropped a brand new PV, and after watching it a couple of times, I gotta say, it's looking seriously different from the rest of the games in the genre. And I don't just mean the size or the player count, or even the zombie apocalypse setting. It's the whole vibe. Most zombie survival games go all in on the gray, washed out, everything's dead look. It's got this bold, almost frontier-like aesthetic that feels straight out of a 90s vision of the apocalypse. Dusty highways, neon-lit bars, abandoned towns that still have a little bit of character left in them. It's colorful but not cartoony, decayed but not dull. It looks like something we haven't seen before. That's kind of rare in the survival MMO genre. Now size and style are cool, but let's talk survival, because that's where games like this live or die. If all you can do is punch trees, cook some meat, and build a square shack, it gets boring fast. CrisisX is promising way more than that. Over 1,000 different ways to survive. Not just the obvious stuff, scavenging, farming, throwing up fences to keep the dead out, but little activities that actually give the world some flavor. Fishing in cold mountain streams, herding horses like it's some apocalypse rodeo, poker games at a saloon where you probably are gambling away your last can of beans. It's these details that could make the world feel alive instead of just a big empty sandbox. And don't worry, it's not all downtime. This is still a zombie apocalypse, which means danger is never far away. The infected here don't mess around. We're talking full-on hordes. And then on top of that, those terrifying titan mutants. Huge, twisted monsters that look like they were built to smash down your walls, which doesn't sound good. When it comes time to fight back, CrisisX isn't holding back. You've got your usual survival starter kit. Bows, machetes, maybe a pistol if you're lucky. But it scales up fast. Snipers, grenades, RPGs. The PV even showed off actual tanks. Shermans, Bradleys, rolling into battle over oil wells and fuel depots. You don't usually see that in survival games. Most of them stop at, here's an AK, good luck. This feels way bigger in scale. The thing that really changes everything is the player count. 5,000 people on one server, which is pretty insane. To put it into perspective, DayZ caps at what, 60? Rust might push a few hundred. CrisisX is throwing literal thousands into the same sandbox. That means huge alliances, betrayals, politics, wars, maybe even entire player-made communities popping up. It's not just me and a couple of guys fighting over a gas station. It's large-scale multiplayer chaos on a scale survival games haven't really touched yet. Some areas will be packed with fighting, others will be quiet, and then you stumble across a random group building a fortress in the middle of nowhere. The unpredictability is what makes that exciting. The world itself helps with that too. CrisisX has 12 different biomes. Snowy mountains, desert highways, rivers, little frontier towns, hidden labs, you name it. Each has its own resources, its own wildlife, its own challenges, and it's seamless. No loading screens when you cross between them, just one giant connected map. That kind of scale with that many players, if it works the way they're pitching, could feel like the closest thing we've had to an actual apocalypse simulator. Games like this live and die on player interest before launch, and if you want to help shape how it develops, or just make sure you don't miss out, the best thing you can do right now is wishlist it on Steam. I'll drop the link in the description. Takes about 5 seconds, and it really does help the devs get noticed. So to sum it up, CrisisX is aiming to do something we haven't really seen before in survival gaming. A world bigger than most entire countries, thousands of players in the same space, a survival sandbox with actual character, not just busy work, and a bold, unique look that stands out from the pack. If the devs can pull this off, and yeah, it's ambitious, it could be one of the biggest survival games of the decade. Personally, I'm curious about the scale. 5,000 players on a single server is almost hard to imagine, and I want to see what happens when those numbers clash over resources. Will we get massive battles? Quiet little enclaves? Probably both. There should be some pretty good content opportunities for creators as well with this one. And then there's the vibe. I just like that it's not going for the same old grim palette every other Apocalypse game leans on. It looks pretty vibrant, even when everything's supposed to be dead. Anyway, that's CrisisX. Big thanks again to the team for sponsoring this video. Wishlist it on Steam and let me know what you think in the comments down below.